The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional financial, legal, or business advisory services. The software pricing, marketing budgets, and financial strategies discussed represent historical trends, case studies, and potential outcomes based on publicly available data and industry observations. Email marketing platforms frequently update their pricing tiers, terms of service, and feature availability. Every business has unique operational needs and financial constraints. We strongly advise you to conduct your own due diligence, consult with certified financial professionals or business advisors, and carefully review the specific terms of any software service agreement before making financial commitments or altering your marketing budget. Most businesses in the United States are actively setting their marketing budgets on fire, and they are doing it with a smile. You are probably paying a hidden tax on your business growth right now, disguised as a monthly software subscription. Consider the case study of a mid-sized e-commerce retailer based out of Austin, Texas. Last year, they celebrated a massive milestone. Their email list finally crossed the 100,000 subscriber mark. It should have been a moment of triumph, a testament to their hard work in customer acquisition and brand building. Instead, it triggered an automatic, silent financial catastrophe. When they crossed that threshold, their email marketing platform did not send a congratulatory plaque. They automatically bumped the company into an enterprise pricing tier that charged them not just for the active buyers, but for every single dormant email address, bot, and unsubscribed contact sitting in the digital archives. Their monthly bill skyrocketed from $400 a month to an astonishing $2,500 a month, literally overnight. That is a $30,000 a year expense for a tool that was supposed to be generating revenue, not draining it. And the worst part? Over 40% of that list had not opened a single email in over 2 years. They were paying premium, enterprise-level rates to send marketing materials to dead inboxes. This is not an isolated incident. Industry historical trends suggest that nearly 7 out of 10 American small to medium businesses are overpaying for their email marketing software by at least 30 to 50%. Why? Because the pricing models of the biggest platforms in the marketing industry are deliberately engineered to be complex, opaque, and highly punitive to growing businesses. They rely heavily on the fact that once you integrate their platform, build your automated customer journeys, and upload your proprietary customer data, the operational friction to leave becomes so overwhelmingly high that you will simply swallow the annual price hikes. They trap you in what industry insiders call the subscriber penalty loop. Today, we are going to expose exactly how these pricing structures are designed to siphon money out of your operational budget, the specific hidden fees you are likely paying right now without realizing it, and the single critical metric you need to look at before you ever sign another software contract. If you do not understand the mechanics of what I am about to show you, you are essentially leaving a blank check on the table for Silicon Valley to cash every single month. What we are about to unpack today is the ultimate defense mechanism for your marketing budget. By the end of this deep dive masterclass, you will possess a forensic understanding of email marketing pricing in the United States. We are going to solve the exact problem of software bloat that is quietly eating away at your profit margins. You will learn how to decode the deceptive tier systems that providers use to force you into upgrades you do not actually need. We will break down the fundamental differences between contact-based pricing, send-based pricing, and feature-gated pricing. This is critical because misunderstanding these 3 distinct models is exactly how businesses end up paying for premium features like advanced predictive analytics or multivariate testing, when all they actually need is a basic, reliable newsletter sequence. Let us look at another case study involving a typical business-to-business service provider in Chicago. They signed up for a popular platform at a seemingly reasonable entry-level price of $20 a month. Felt like an incredible deal. But that entry-level tier strictly limited them to basic email templates and capped their automations at one simple welcome sequence. As their business grew, they needed to segment their audience to send targeted follow-up emails to clients who attended specific webinars. To unlock that basic segmentation capability, they were forced to upgrade to the next tier, which immediately bumped their bill to $100 a month, even though their actual subscriber count had barely moved. Then, they wanted to remove the platform's proprietary branding from their email footer to look more professional to their corporate clients. That required yet another upgrade, pushing the baseline cost to $250 a month. This is the feature paywall trap. You are not paying for the volume of your success. You are being held hostage for fundamental tools that should be standard out of the box. In this masterclass, we will meticulously dissect these exact scenarios. You will discover how to step-by-step audit your current platform to identify deadweight subscribers that are artificially inflating your monthly bill. I will walk you through the precise historical trends of pricing across the top 10 email marketing platforms used in the US today, comparing their true costs at 10,000, 50,000, and 100,000 subscribers. We will map out the exact inflection points where it makes financial sense to migrate from a beginner platform to a robust enterprise solution, and more importantly, when it makes sense to stay exactly where you are and optimize your current list architecture. We will also delve into the hidden costs of overage fees. Many US businesses fail to realize that exceeding their monthly send limit by just 100 emails can trigger automatic overage charges that are disproportionately higher than their base rate. We will look at potential outcomes of setting up strict send limits and utilizing throttling techniques to ensure you never accidentally trigger these punitive fees during a major holiday promotion or product launch. For the US audience navigating a highly competitive and inflation-impacted economic environment, preserving cash flow is paramount. Every single dollar spent on an inefficient software subscription is a dollar stolen from your product development, your payroll, or your bottom line. We are going to explore the potential outcomes of applying aggressive list hygiene practices, demonstrating how routine scrubbing of unengaged contacts can immediately drop you into a lower pricing tier, instantly recapturing lost revenue. Furthermore, we will tackle the often misunderstood realm of deliverability infrastructure. Many platforms will try to aggressively upsell you on dedicated IP addresses, claiming it is an absolute necessity for reaching the primary inbox. We will look at the hard data and historical trends to determine when a dedicated IP is actually a sound investment for a US-based sender, and when it is merely an overpriced add-on that provides zero tangible benefit to your specific sending reputation. This masterclass is not about cutting corners or settling for inferior marketing tools. It is about highly strategic resource allocation. It is about understanding the intricate rules of a software billing game that was originally designed to confuse you, so that you can finally level the playing field and protect your margins. You will leave this session equipped with the exact knowledge required to negotiate better terms, confidently reject unnecessary upsells, and structure your marketing technology stack to scale sustainably alongside your revenue, rather than outpacing it. We are tearing down the smoke and mirrors of software pricing today. Let us begin the deep dive into the mechanics of contact-based pricing and uncover why your subscriber count might be a complete financial illusion. The fundamental flaw in contact-based pricing is that it operates on the assumption that every single email address in your database holds equal financial value to your business. This is a complete financial illusion. In the current digital landscape of 2026, where consumer attention is fiercely divided and inbox filtering algorithms are more aggressive than ever, the raw size of your subscriber list is often a vanity metric that software companies weaponize against you. Contact-based pricing means you are billed purely on the total volume of email addresses stored within your account, regardless of whether those addresses are generating revenue, opening your messages, or even valid in the first place. Platforms structure their pricing tiers to capture your growth, but they deliberately fail to distinguish between healthy growth and toxic data accumulation. Let us look at a detailed case study from earlier in 2026. Consider a business owner named David, who operates a regional heavy machinery supply company based in Denver, Colorado. David had been diligently collecting customer and prospect emails since his company launched a digital transformation initiative 5 years ago. Over that half-decade, his customer relationship management dashboard proudly displayed a total of 75,000 contacts. Because of this volume, his email marketing platform automatically placed his business into a premium enterprise tier, costing his company approximately $1,200 every single month. To David and his executive team, this seemed like a necessary operational expense for reaching a massive audience. However, a forensic audit of his database revealed a staggering reality. Out of those 75,000 contacts, nearly 22,000 were categorized as hard bounces. These were emails belonging to former employees of his client companies who had changed jobs, retired, or moved on over the past 5 years. Their inboxes literally no longer existed. Furthermore, another 18,000 contacts had not opened a single communication from David's company since 2023. David was paying premium 2026 software rates to store digital ghosts. The mechanics of the tier jump in contact-based pricing are designed to punish this exact type of data hoarding. Platforms do not charge you a smooth, linear rate for the value you extract. They charge you exorbitant step-ups for the database space you occupy. Moving from 9,999 contacts to 10,000 might only increase your monthly bill by $30. But crossing the threshold from 49,999 to 50,000 can suddenly trigger a massive price hike, sometimes doubling your monthly financial commitment. David was bleeding over $14,000 a year in marketing budget, simply to house 40,000 dead email addresses that had zero potential outcome for his sales pipeline. Imagine if you rented a massive physical warehouse in a prime industrial district to store your retail inventory. You fill exactly half of the warehouse with highly profitable, fast-moving products that generate consistent daily revenue. But you fill the other half of that expensive warehouse with empty cardboard boxes, broken pallets, and completely discontinued items that you know for a fact will never sell. Now imagine your commercial landlord charging you a premium real estate rate for the square footage taken up entirely by that garbage. You would be absolutely outraged. You would immediately hire a crew to clear out the trash to downsize your footprint and save on rent. Yet, in the digital space of email marketing, American businesses do exactly this every single month without blinking. They pay premium digital rent for digital garbage. Let us dig deeper into the step-by-step mechanics of how these platforms artificially inflate your numbers through the duplicate contact trap. Many highly popular, household name platforms historically used by small businesses in the United States do not treat an email address as a single unique identifier across your entire account. Suppose you operate a mid-sized financial consulting firm. You have a primary weekly newsletter list. You also create a separate list for people who register for your quarterly economic forecast webinar. Finally, you have a third list for prospects who downloaded a specific white paper on tax optimization. If a highly engaged prospect named Michael from Chicago is on all three of those lists, legacy list-based platforms will count Michael as 3 distinct, billable contacts. If your marketing strategy relies heavily on creating new lists for every single lead magnet, webinar, and product launch, you could be artificially inflating your subscriber count by a factor of 3, 4, or even 5 times your actual human audience. Historical trends show that when businesses execute a structural migration from an outdated list-based platform to a modern, tag-based platform where Michael from Chicago is counted as only one person with 3 behavioral tags attached to his profile, they often witness an immediate 30 to 40% reduction in their billable contact count. They achieve this massive drop in overhead without losing a single actual prospect. You are essentially paying a massive ignorance tax simply because of how the software structures its back-end database architecture. Another massive, silent drain on your budget comes from unsubscribed and bounced contacts. You might logically assume that when a user clicks the unsubscribe link at the bottom of your promotional email, they are immediately removed from your active billing threshold. In many legacy systems, relying on this assumption is a dangerous financial mistake. The platform is legally required to keep a record of that unsubscribe to ensure compliance with anti-spam regulations, which is entirely necessary. However, many software providers will quietly continue to count those unsubscribed and permanently bounced addresses towards your total billing tier, until you take the manual, proactive step of archiving or completely deleting them from your active database. They rely heavily on the fact that busy business owners do not have the time to perform manual database administration. In the highly competitive economic environment of 2026, where customer acquisition costs remain elevated and businesses are fighting for every point of profit margin, allowing your software provider to double-dip on your budget is a critical operational failure. Let us examine the potential outcomes if you implement a ruthless, routine list hygiene protocol. If a business currently paying $1,500 a month for a bloated list of 150,000 contacts finally decides to scrub their database, removing all duplicates, hard bounces, and chronic non-openers who have been silent for 12 months, they might drop their list size down to 60,000 highly engaged, active buyers. Their monthly software bill instantly drops to $500. That is a direct recapture of $12,000 in annual capital that drops straight back to the bottom line, completely risk-free. Contact-based pricing relies entirely on your inherent fear of deleting data. Software companies intimately understand that marketers are terrified of hitting the delete button on an email address they paid good money to acquire. They successfully monetize your digital hoarding. They want you to keep paying for the illusion of a massive stadium-sized audience, even if that stadium is completely empty. But what happens when you finally wake up, clean your database, run a lean operation, and attempt to beat them at their own game? The platforms do not simply give up and let you save money. They have already engineered a secondary, highly aggressive pricing model designed specifically to catch businesses that maintain small, hyper-engaged lists. Just when you think you have mastered the system by keeping your subscriber count low, you suddenly realize you are being financially penalized for actually communicating with your audience. If your list is clean and you want to send emails frequently to drive sales, you are about to walk right into a completely different financial trap that is quietly devastating the budgets of high-volume senders this year. This is the treacherous terrain of send volume limits and overage fees, a pricing mechanism explicitly engineered to penalize businesses with highly active, frequently purchasing audiences. You have done everything right. You cleaned your list, you removed the dead weight, and you have cultivated a lean, mean, highly responsive database of buyers. You want to communicate with them frequently to maximize your return on investment. But the software companies are already 2 steps ahead of you. They understand that in 2026, raw list size is dropping as businesses get smarter about data hygiene. So they have aggressively pivoted their revenue models to monetize your sending frequency instead. This means they are no longer just charging you to store the data. They are placing a toll booth on the actual pipeline between your business and your customer's inbox. Consider a detailed case study of a specialized e-commerce operator named Sarah, who runs a daily flash sale boutique based out of Seattle, Washington. Sarah sells surplus outdoor gear and athletic apparel. Because her business model relies entirely on limited-time daily deals, frequency is her primary revenue driver. In early 2026, Sarah aggressively scrubbed her email database, dropping her total subscriber count down to a highly engaged core of 20,000 active buyers. Under her platform's contact-based pricing tier, 20,000 subscribers placed her in a very comfortable, mid-level bracket costing roughly $200 a month. Sarah was thrilled, believing she had finally optimized her marketing overhead. However, because she runs daily flash sales, she sends 1 email every single morning to her entire list. 20,000 emails a day multiplied by an average of 30 days. A month results in a total sending volume of 600,000 emails per month. What Sarah failed to analyze was the fine print buried deep within the software service agreement under a section often deceptively labeled as the acceptable use policy or monthly send limits. Her platform, like many of the dominant players in the US market today, enforces a strict sending multiplier. For her specific tier of 20,000 contacts, the platform capped her total monthly sends at exactly 10 times her subscriber count. Her absolute ceiling was 200,000 emails per month. By day 10 of the month, Sarah had completely exhausted her included sending allowance. For the remaining 20 days of the month, every single email she dispatched triggered an automatic overage fee. The mechanics of these overage fees are utterly punishing. In Sarah's case, the platform charged a premium rate of $7 for every block of 1,000 emails sent beyond the limit. She was sending an extra 400,000 emails over her cap. 400 blocks multiplied by $7 resulted in an absolutely devastating overage charge of $2,800. Her baseline subscription of $200 had instantly mutated into a $3,000 monthly liability, fundamentally wiping out the profit margins on her lower-priced daily deals. This is not an anomaly. Historical trends indicate that businesses heavily reliant on daily newsletters, media publishers, and high-frequency retailers are the primary victims of this predatory volume-based pricing structure. Imagine if you leased a commercial delivery van for your business. The monthly lease agreement is incredibly affordable, perhaps only $400 a month. But buried in the contract is a strict mileage cap of 500 miles per month. Once you cross that threshold, the dealership automatically charges you $5 for every single additional mile you drive. If you operate a high-volume delivery service, that cheap monthly lease will bankrupt you within a week. You are being financially punished for actually using the tool for its intended purpose. This is the exact dynamic playing out inside your email marketing dashboard right now. To escape the overage trap, platforms offer a solution that is just as financially toxic: the forced tier upgrade paradox. When Sarah contacted her software provider to dispute the massive overage charges, their sales representative offered a seemingly logical resolution. They suggested she simply upgrade her account to the 50,000 subscriber tier. Upgrading to this higher tier would grant her a sending allowance of 500,000 emails, covering the vast majority of her daily volume and significantly reducing her overage exposure. The base cost for this new tier was $800 a month. Think about the utter absurdity of this potential outcome. Sarah only has 20,000 actual human beings on her list. The software provider is forcing her to purchase 30,000 phantom, non-existent subscriber slots simply to unlock the necessary bandwidth to email the people she already has. She is being forced to buy empty digital warehouse space just to get a larger delivery truck. Furthermore, you must understand the operational disaster of mid-campaign throttling. Some platforms do not simply charge you overage fees when you hit your limit. They completely shut off your ability to send. Let us look at another scenario involving a consumer electronics retailer preparing for the 2026 Black Friday shopping weekend. They had a carefully orchestrated sequence of promotional emails scheduled to deploy every 6 hours. Right in the middle of Cyber Monday, their most profitable day of the entire year, they hit their monthly send limit. The software platform automatically throttled their account, instantly freezing their outgoing queue. Thousands of highly anticipated promotional emails carrying limited-time discount codes were stalled in a digital purgatory. By the time the marketing director realized the error, navigated the billing dashboard, entered a corporate credit card to authorize emergency overage data, and got the system unblocked, 6 critical hours of peak consumer purchasing behavior had completely evaporated. The resulting loss in projected revenue was staggering, all because of an arbitrary software send limit designed to extract a few extra dollars of operational budget. The days of truly unlimited sending are a historical relic. As infrastructure costs for cloud servers fluctuate and anti-spam compliance becomes vastly more complex, software companies are passing those operational burdens directly onto the American business owner through these rigid volume caps. You cannot simply look at the price tag next to the subscriber count anymore. You must forensically calculate your exact projected monthly sending volume, factor in your automated welcome sequences, your abandoned cart triggers, your transactional receipts, and your broadcast newsletters, and cross-reference that massive total against the microscopic print in the pricing table. You might think you can outsmart the system. You might find a rare emerging software provider that offers incredibly generous subscriber limits and completely uncapped, unlimited sending volume for a remarkably low monthly price. It sounds like the ultimate sanctuary for your marketing budget. But before you migrate your entire customer database to this seemingly perfect oasis, you need to realize they are baiting you into the most insidious and restrictive financial trap of them all. You have the contacts, you have the sending volume, but when you go to actually build the automated revenue engine that makes modern marketing profitable, you suddenly discover every single tool you need is locked behind a digital padlock, demanding a massive premium upgrade just to turn the key. Welcome to the era of feature-gated pricing, the most psychologically manipulative strategy deployed by email marketing platforms in 2026. You sign up for the basic plan because the subscriber allowance is generous and the monthly fee is incredibly low. You successfully migrate your contact list, authenticate your sending domain, and prepare to launch your campaigns. But the moment you attempt to build anything beyond a static linear newsletter, you hit an immovable brick wall. The software providers intimately know that basic email broadcasting is a commodity in today's market. Anyone can send a mass text email. The real money, the actual measurable return on investment for your business, lies in behavioral automation, advanced list segmentation, and dynamic content. And they have systematically quarantined these exact revenue-generating features behind exorbitant paywalls. Let us look at a historical trend through the lens of a highly specific case study from early 2026. Consider Mark, an entrepreneur operating a specialty coffee roasting business out of Columbus, Ohio. Mark was thrilled to find a software platform offering him 25,000 contacts and unlimited sending for a mere $40 a month. His entire business model relied heavily on converting one-time website visitors into recurring, high-margin coffee subscription customers. To execute this, he logically needed a multi-step abandoned cart automation. When a prospective customer added a bag of premium espresso beans to their digital cart, but left the website without entering their credit card information, Mark wanted to automatically send them a gentle reminder email 2 hours later, followed by a highly targeted 10% discount offer 24 hours after that. This is a fundamental, textbook e-commerce strategy that every modern retailer requires. However, when Mark navigated to the Visual Automation Builder inside his newly purchased $40 a month platform, he found the abandoned cart trigger grayed out and inaccessible. Clicking it revealed a pop-up message informing him that behavioral triggers and multi-step automations were reserved exclusively for the professional tier. The cost of that professional tier was not $40. It was $250 a month. Imagine if you bought a brand new commercial delivery truck off the dealership lot for an incredibly low sticker price. You are ecstatic about the deal until you sit in the driver's seat, start the engine, and realize the steering wheel only turns left. When you complain to the dealer, They calmly explain that turning right is a premium feature reserved strictly for the luxury package, and it will cost you 5 times your original down payment to unlock that basic functionality. This is the exact operational reality of feature-gated pricing. You are essentially leasing a broken marketing engine. Mark had to make a grueling financial decision. He could either abandon his core revenue strategy, rendering the email platform effectively useless for his aggressive growth goals, or he could swallow a massive 600% price increase before he had even sent a single automated email. He chose the upgrade, immediately transforming what he thought was a cheap software acquisition into a massive overhead burden. This gating strategy extends far beyond simple behavioral automations. The platforms also hold your own marketing data and optimization capabilities hostage. Let us deeply examine the critical function of split testing, commonly known in the industry as A/B testing. In the fiercely competitive inbox environment of 2026, blindly guessing which subject line will generate a higher open rate is a recipe for catastrophic campaign failure. You need to test 2 distinct variations on a small percentage of your list, analyze the winning outcome based on live data, and automatically deploy the victor to the remainder of your audience. This is standard scientific marketing that prevents wasted effort. Yet, nearly every dominant email provider in the United States currently gates advanced split testing behind their top-tier enterprise plans. If you are strictly on the standard tier, you might be allowed to test a basic subject line, but if you want to test the actual visual design of the email, the placement of the call to action button, or the exact delivery time to find when your audience is most active, you must pay the premium toll. They are intentionally limiting your ability to optimize your own campaigns, forcing you to operate entirely in the dark unless you pay their ransom. Furthermore, consider the historical trends surrounding dynamic content and hyper-personalization. Modern American consumers expect marketing materials tailored specifically to their past purchasing behavior, preferences, and geographical location. If you sell outdoor apparel, you want your subscribers in snowy Minneapolis to automatically see heavy winter parkas in your newsletter, while your subscribers in sunny Miami see lightweight rain jackets. This powerful capability, known as dynamic content blocks, is almost universally restricted to the most expensive pricing tiers available on the market. Software companies aggressively market these platforms as intuitive tools to help small businesses compete with massive retail giants, but they systematically withhold the exact technological weapons required to actually win that fight. You are left paying for a glorified digital Rolodex while your competitors, who capitulated and paid the premium tier pricing, are deploying highly targeted, behaviorally driven automated machines that print money on autopilot. You must also consider the hidden cost of customer support, which is entirely feature-gated. If you are on a basic or entry-level plan, your technical support is often restricted to asynchronous email ticketing. If you are launching a massive, high-stakes promotional campaign and the software unexpectedly crashes, or a critical integration breaks, you might be waiting 48 to 72 hours for a response from an outsourced help desk. Every hour your system is down, you are actively bleeding potential revenue. To gain access to priority live chat or a dedicated account manager who can instantly troubleshoot your crisis, you are forced into the highest possible pricing tier. The platforms are essentially selling you an extortionate insurance policy disguised as a premium software feature. You are paying a premium not for better marketing tools, but simply for the guarantee that someone will actually answer the phone when their own product fails you. The insidious nature of feature-gated pricing forces you to constantly evaluate your return on investment on a granular, feature-by-feature basis. You must explicitly calculate how much additional monthly revenue that specific abandoned cart sequence or dynamic content block will generate to mathematically justify the $200 or $500 upgrade. If the math does not work in your favor, you are completely trapped. And just when you finally map out your essential features, swallow the bitter pill of the upgrade costs, and begin the complex process of connecting your email platform to your wider business ecosystem, like your customer relationship management software or your customized online storefront, you trigger the most complex and least understood financial trap in the entire industry. You might have the contacts, the unlimited sending volume, and the premium features finally unlocked, but the simple act of letting your different software tools talk to each other is about to unleash a hidden cascade of API charges that entirely circumvents your carefully planned monthly subscription fee. This is the invisible toll road of the digital marketing ecosystem, commonly referred to in the software engineering world as application programming interface or API limits. To understand this trap, you must understand how modern marketing actually functions in the year 2026. Your email platform does not exist in a vacuum. It must constantly communicate with your customer relationship management software, your e-commerce storefront, your customer service help desk, and your payment processors. Every single time one of these platforms speaks to another, it makes an API call. When a customer updates their shipping address, that is a call. When they browse a specific product category on your website and that data is sent to your email platform to trigger a targeted campaign, that is a call. The software companies know that a highly integrated technology stack is the only way you can compete in the modern American economy. Therefore, they have quietly shifted their monetization strategies to penalize the very connectivity they advertise on their sales pages. Let us look at a highly specific case study involving a business owner named Michael, who operates a fast-growing sports nutrition and supplement brand based in Miami, Florida. Coming into 2026, Michael was utilizing a popular mid-tier email marketing platform that cost him roughly $300 a month. He had successfully integrated this platform directly with his digital storefront. Michael ran a massive promotional campaign over the Memorial Day weekend, driving unprecedented traffic to his website. His email platform explicitly advertised a seamless, real-time integration with his storefront. What the sales brochure intentionally obscured was a strict cap of 20,000 API calls per month on his specific pricing tier. Consider the mathematics of a single customer transaction. When a new prospect visited Michael's website and submitted their email for a first-time discount code, that generated one API call to create the contact. When they added a protein powder to their cart, the website sent another call to update their behavioral profile. When they successfully completed the checkout process, the system generated a third call to log the purchase, a fourth call to apply a past purchaser tag, and a fifth call to remove them from the active promotional sequence so they would not receive further discount offers for an item they just bought. A single successful customer journey consumed 5 distinct API calls. During his massive holiday promotion, Michael was processing thousands of orders. By the morning of the second day, he completely obliterated his monthly limit of 20,000 data requests. Imagine if you built a state-of-the-art commercial facility and paid the local utility company a fixed, premium monthly rate for the massive water pipe connecting to your building. You budget perfectly for this monthly utility cost. But then, right in the middle of your busiest manufacturing shift, you discover the utility company has placed a microscopic digital meter directly on every single faucet handle in your building. They are not just charging you for the volume of water, they are charging you a premium microtransaction every single time an employee turns the handle, regardless of how much water actually flows out. If you refuse to pay the exorbitant penalty fees, they completely shut off the water pressure to your facility. This is exactly how email marketing API throttling functions. You are paying for the pipe, but you are being extorted for the flow of your own customer data. When Michael hit his data limit, his email platform did not simply pause and ask for a credit card upgrade. They immediately throttled his data connection, creating a catastrophic operational failure. Because the digital storefront could no longer communicate with the email platform, the email software had absolutely no record of who had actually purchased the supplements during the sale. The automated marketing machine kept running blindly. Thousands of customers who had already paid full price for their supplements suddenly received an aggressive, automated abandoned cart email containing a 20% discount code for the exact items they had purchased just hours prior. The potential outcomes of this data bottleneck are disastrous. Michael experienced a massive influx of angry customer support tickets demanding partial refunds to match the automated discount code, completely eroding his profit margins for the entire holiday weekend. To restore the data connection and stop the bleeding, Michael was forced to immediately upgrade to a customized enterprise tier, skyrocketing his monthly software liability from $300 to over $1,200 a month, purely to unlock the privilege of letting his own software tools talk to one another. To circumvent these punitive native integration limits, many American businesses attempt to use third-party middleware or data bridging software to connect their systems. They believe they are outsmarting the email platform by routing the data through a different channel. However, historical trends show that this simply transfers the financial burden from one software vendor to another. You end up paying a completely separate, heavily inflated monthly subscription to the middleware company just to act as a translator between your store and your email list. This is the integration tax. You are forced to patch together a fragile, expensive digital bridge because the email platform intentionally crippled its own native capabilities to force an enterprise upgrade. Even worse, many platforms actively restrict which specific pieces of data can be transferred based on your pricing tier. You might be allowed to sync a customer's basic first name and email address on the standard plan. But if you want to sync their lifetime value, their average order size, or the specific dates of their previous purchases, you must move behind the premium paywall. They are holding your own proprietary business intelligence hostage. They allow you to collect the data, but they refuse to let you utilize it for marketing automation unless you pay their ransom. It is a brilliant, highly manipulative monetization strategy that punishes businesses precisely at their moment of maximum operational growth. You are penalized for being successful, but let us assume you somehow navigate the complexities of subscriber bloat. You successfully dodge the daily overage fees. You pay the ransom for the basic behavioral automation features, and you successfully configure your API data limits without completely bankrupting your technology budget. You finally have a clean list, a beautifully designed campaign, and a fully integrated system. You are finally ready to press send and generate revenue. But what if the platform you just paid thousands of dollars to use is fundamentally incapable of placing your message where your customers can actually see it? What if you are paying premium software rates to land directly in the spam folder, and the platform's proposed solution is to aggressively sell you an incredibly expensive, completely unnecessary piece of digital real estate that will likely destroy your sending reputation overnight? This is the great deliverability deception, and the digital real estate they are aggressively peddling is known as a dedicated IP address. When American businesses experience a sudden drop in open rates, panic inevitably sets in. You might notice your emails to Gmail or Yahoo users are suddenly landing in the promotional tab or worse, the dreaded spam folder. Desperate to protect your revenue stream, you reach out to your software platform support team. They will almost universally offer a templated, seemingly logical solution. They will claim that because you are currently sending from a shared IP pool, your sender reputation is being damaged by the poor practices of other businesses using that same server. Their pitch is incredibly persuasive. They tell you that purchasing a dedicated IP will give you total control over your own sender reputation, isolating you from the bad actors and instantly solving your inbox placement problems. They position this upgrade as the ultimate VIP pass to the primary inbox, and they will gladly charge you anywhere from $50 to $200 extra every single month for the privilege. To understand why this is a catastrophic financial and operational trap for the vast majority of businesses, you must first understand the underlying architecture of email transmission. In a standard shared IP environment, your platform bundles your emails together with thousands of other legitimate small businesses. The massive, consistent volume of high-quality emails flowing through those shared servers actually establishes a highly trusted reputation with major internet service providers. When you blindly purchase a dedicated IP, you are completely severing ties with that established trust network. You are handed a brand new, completely sterile IP address that has zero historical data associated with it. To algorithms at Google and Apple in 2026, a brand new IP address suddenly sending thousands of marketing emails does not look like a legitimate business upgrading its infrastructure. It looks exactly like a malicious spammer setting up a new server to launch a phishing attack. Let us examine a devastating case study involving Robert, a commercial real estate broker operating a growing firm in Phoenix, Arizona. By mid-2026, Robert had built a highly targeted list of roughly 40,000 local investors and property managers. He noticed his open rates softening slightly, dropping from 22% to 18%. His platform representative immediately diagnosed the issue as a shared IP problem and upsold Robert on a dedicated IP for an additional $150 a month. Robert, wanting to protect his lucrative prospect list, authorized the charge. The very next morning, he drafted his weekly market analysis report and sent it to his entire 40,000-person database using his expensive new dedicated IP. The potential outcomes of this maneuver are mathematically predictable and uniformly disastrous. Because Robert failed to execute a meticulous multi-week IP warming protocol, which his platform conveniently failed to emphasize during the sales pitch, the internet service providers immediately flagged his massive sending spike as a severe security threat. They hard-bounced a portion of his list and routed the rest directly to the spam folder. Robert did not just fail to improve his open rate. He effectively annihilated his sender reputation in a single afternoon. His open rate plummeted from 18% to less than 2%. He paid a premium monthly fee to essentially lock himself out of his clients' inboxes. Imagine if you decided to open a high-end luxury retail store. Instead of renting space in a highly trafficked, established shopping mall where thousands of wealthy customers already walk by every single day, you decide to buy a private island in the middle of the ocean. you build a beautiful store, you stock it with amazing products, but there are no roads, no bridges, and absolutely no public awareness that your island even exists. You have total control over your environment, but you have zero foot traffic, and you will quickly go bankrupt. A dedicated IP without the massive, consistent daily sending volume required to keep it warm is exactly like building a luxury store on a deserted island. You are paying a premium for isolation, not deliverability. Historical trends and data from deliverability experts clearly dictate that unless a business is consistently sending well over 100,000 to 200,000 emails every single week, a dedicated IP is not just unnecessary, it is actively harmful. A shared IP pool managed by a reputable platform provides the massive volume required to smooth out the natural fluctuations in your sending schedule. If you only send one newsletter a week, your IP address goes completely cold for 6 days. On a shared IP, other businesses are keeping that connection warm for you. On a dedicated IP, you bear the entire burden of maintaining that constant high-volume flow. The software companies know this data intimately. They understand that a mid-sized business like Robert Firm lacks the volume to sustain a dedicated IP. Yet, they push the upsell aggressively because the profit margins on IP addresses are astronomical. They lease these IP blocks for pennies on the dollar and rent them to terrified business owners at a massive premium, capitalizing entirely on the fear of the spam folder. They are monetizing your lack of technical infrastructure knowledge. You are being sold a highly complex, enterprise-level network engineering tool, when all you actually needed was a basic lesson in cleaning your inactive subscribers and writing better subject lines. By successfully rejecting the dedicated IP trap, you keep your business on a highly optimized shared server, saving thousands of dollars a year while actually maintaining better deliverability. You have secured your infrastructure. You are sending the right volume, you have the right features, and your emails are actually reaching the inbox. Your financial optimization should be complete. However, as you begin to scale your design team and attempt to build visually stunning, highly converted marketing assets that reflect your brand identity, you are about to trigger a completely different tier of hidden fees. You realize that the intuitive drag-and-drop builder they sold you in the marketing brochure is actually a highly restrictive digital cage, and the moment you want to bring in your own custom code or utilize advanced visual assets, the platform enforces a staggering penalty. Welcome to the custom HTML and visual asset paywall, one of the most frustrating financial bottlenecks modern businesses face in 2026. When you first evaluate an email marketing software, their sales pages heavily emphasize their beautiful, intuitive drag-and-drop editors. They promise that absolutely anyone can design a world-class email campaign in minutes without writing a single line of code. For a brand new startup, this is a highly appealing value proposition. However, as your business matures, your brand identity solidifies. You hire professional graphic designers. You develop strict brand guidelines regarding exact hex color codes, specific typography padding, and complex mobile responsive layouts that simply cannot be replicated using a rigid block builder. You realize that to stand out in the crowded inbox environment of the current year, your emails must look like bespoke digital experiences, not generic templates used by a million other local businesses. To achieve this, your design team will inevitably create a custom HTML and CSS template from scratch. It is lighter, it loads faster, and it perfectly aligns with your corporate aesthetic. But when you log into your mid-tier email platform to simply paste that code into a new campaign, you hit a hard stop. Let us examine a highly detailed case study involving Jessica, who runs a high-end boutique creative agency headquartered in Brooklyn, New York. In early 2026, Jessica completely rebranded her agency to attract enterprise-level clients. Part of this initiative involved a complete overhaul of her weekly industry newsletter. She paid a freelance developer $1,500 to code a stunning, dark mode-compatible, hyper-responsive email template. The code was flawless. Jessica was currently paying $99 a month for her email marketing platform, which comfortably accommodated her list of 15,000 highly curated industry contacts. However, when she navigated to the campaign builder and attempted to select the custom HTML import option, the button was completely locked. A prominent pop-up informed her that custom code injection was considered an advanced developer feature, restricted entirely to the premium tier. To unlock the basic ability to paste her own proprietary code into the system, she was required to upgrade to a $299 a month subscription. This is a masterclass in artificial software limitation. The platform incurs absolutely zero additional server cost or computational bandwidth, when you use your own code. In fact, clean custom HTML is often vastly lighter and easier for their servers to process than the bloated, messy code generated by their own drag-and-drop visual builders. They are not charging Jessica for an enhanced service or increased operational capacity. They are simply holding her brand identity hostage because they know a sophisticated agency cannot afford to send an amateur-looking email. Jessica was forced to accept a $200 monthly penalty, amounting to $2,400 a year in completely unnecessary overhead, purely for the privilege of using her own intellectual property. Imagine if you leased a commercial kitchen space to operate a premium organic bakery. You arrive on your first day carrying your own secret family recipes and your own highly sourced, expensive organic ingredients. But the commercial landlord stops you at the door and dictates that, according to your standard lease agreement, you are only allowed to bake using the cheap, pre-packaged boxed cake mixes they provide in the pantry. If you want the privilege of baking from scratch using your own superior ingredients, you must immediately sign a new lease that triples your monthly rent. You would consider this business practice absolutely predatory. Yet, this exact dynamic is the standard operating procedure for the largest email marketing software providers in the United States today. They trap you in their ecosystem with a cheap entry price, and the moment you attempt to elevate your brand above their generic baseline, they penalize your growth. But the design extortion goes much deeper than just the underlying code. It extends directly into the visual assets, photographs, and graphics you upload to their servers. This introduces us to the silent, rapidly accelerating trap of metered media storage. Historically, early email platforms offered effectively unlimited media storage as a loss leader to acquire market share. However, historical trends over the past few years indicate a massive shift. As cloud computing and digital storage costs have evolved, these software companies realized they were sitting on a massive, untapped revenue stream. They quietly updated their terms of service, transforming their platforms from marketing tools into highly overpriced, metered cloud storage providers. Consider the potential outcomes for a business owner named Marcus, who operates a luxury real estate brokerage in Los Angeles, California. Marcus sends out bi-weekly property portfolios to a massive list of high-net-worth investors. His emails are heavily reliant on stunning, high-resolution photography showcasing multi-million-dollar estates, aerial drone shots, and virtual tour graphics. Every single time Marcus uploads a new property image to build an email campaign, that file is stored permanently in his platform media library. His platform, which costs him roughly $400 a month for his list size, includes a seemingly generous 2 GB media storage limit. However, high-resolution real estate photography consumes data rapidly. By the end of the second quarter of 2026, Marcus completely exhausted his 2 GB allocation. The platform did not send him a courtesy warning email. They did not prevent him from uploading new images to protect his budget. Instead, they silently invoked a premium data overage clause buried in his contract. For every additional gigabyte of storage Marcus consumed, the platform automatically charged his corporate credit card $25. Because his team was uploading hundreds of massive files every single month and never routinely deleting old, expired property photos, his account quickly ballooned to 10 gigabytes of stored media. His $400 monthly bill was suddenly hit with an additional $200 penalty fee purely for data storage. Marcus was unknowingly paying $25 a gigabyte for storage space that he could have purchased from a dedicated cloud hosting provider for mere fractions of a penny. To escape this specific financial trap, sophisticated marketing teams must execute a step-by-step bypass strategy. Instead of uploading your proprietary images directly into the email marketing platform media library, you must host those images externally on a dedicated content delivery network or a low-cost cloud storage bucket. When you build your email campaign, you simply insert the direct external hyperlink to where the image is hosted, rather than physically uploading the file to the platform. The image still displays perfectly in your subscriber inbox, but because the file lives on your own external server, it utilizes exactly 0 bytes of your email platform storage quota. You completely circumvent their artificial metering and eliminate the risk of automated overage fees. You have finally optimized your code structure, bypassed the predatory storage limits, and secured a visually stunning campaign framework that costs you pennies on the dollar to maintain. Your brand looks immaculate, your deliverability is secured, and your monthly software budget is finally under strict control. But as your customized marketing machine begins to generate serious, predictable revenue, you reach the inevitable stage of operational scaling. You can no longer manage this complex system entirely by yourself. You need to hire a dedicated marketing manager, a junior copywriter, and a data analyst to take over the daily execution. You confidently navigate to your account settings to create new login credentials for your growing team, only to discover that the platform has engineered one final, devastating administrative paywall designed specifically to punish collaborative businesses. You are about to step squarely into the user seat license extortion trap. This is the user seat license extortion trap, and it is a masterclass in monetizing your operational success. When you initially launched your marketing efforts, you were likely a solo operator. A single administrative login was perfectly sufficient for your needs. However, historical trends dictate that as a United States business scales its revenue, it must inevitably scale its human capital. You can no longer be the sole person designing campaigns, writing sales copy, segmenting lists, and analyzing open rates. You need a team. In the software industry of 2026, platforms intimately understand this natural business evolution. They know that your ultimate goal is to delegate these tasks. Therefore, they have strategically transformed the simple act of creating a sub-account for your new employee into a massive, unavoidable financial hurdle. Let us deeply examine a specific case study involving a business operator named Amanda, who manages a rapidly expanding direct-to-consumer home goods brand in Atlanta, Georgia. By the third quarter of 2026, Amanda had successfully grown her email list to 80,000 active subscribers. She was paying a very reasonable $300 a month for her marketing platform. To handle the increased workload, she hired a freelance copywriter to draft the weekly newsletters and a junior data analyst to monitor campaign performance. Her immediate logical step was to create 2 new user logins within her email software. She wanted her copywriter to have access to the campaign builder, and she wanted her analyst to have access to the reporting dashboard. When Amanda navigated to the team management section of her software, she discovered that her $300 a month plan strictly limited her to a single user seat. To add just 2 additional team members, she was not offered a simple $10 per user add-on fee. Instead, the platform required her to completely abandon her current pricing tier and upgrade to their premium agency plan. The cost of this new plan was $850 a month. Think about the mathematical absurdity of this potential outcome. Amanda was not asking for more email sending volume. She was not asking for more contact storage space. She was not asking for advanced behavioral automation or premium server access. She simply needed to generate 2 basic digital keycards, so her team could access the exact same tools she was already paying for. To issue those 2 digital keycards, the software company demanded a staggering $550 monthly premium, essentially tripling her overhead instantly. Imagine if you leased a commercial office space in a downtown high-rise. You sign a lease for a massive, beautifully furnished corner office. You pay your rent on time every single month. But when you hire an assistant and ask the building manager to issue them an entry badge so they can walk through the front door and sit at one of the desks you are already paying for, the landlord refuses. They tell you that your lease only covers your physical body entering the building. If you want a second human being to cross the threshold, your monthly office rent will immediately triple. You would immediately contact a lawyer and terminate the lease. Yet, in the digital software ecosystem, American business owners routinely accept this exact form of extortion as a standard operating expense. Many businesses attempt to circumvent this trap by simply sharing the master administrative login credentials with their entire team. In the modern cybersecurity landscape of 2026, this is a catastrophic operational risk. Because of strict data privacy regulations and security protocols, nearly every major email marketing platform now enforces mandatory 2-factor authentication. If Amanda gives her master username and password to her freelance copywriter, every single time that copywriter attempts to log in from their home office, a 6-digit security code is texted directly to Amanda's personal smartphone. If Amanda is driving, sitting in a board meeting, or on a flight, the copywriter is completely locked out of the system, creating a massive operational bottleneck. The software platforms intentionally utilize this security friction to force your hand. They make the password sharing experience so agonizingly painful and inefficient that you eventually capitulate and pay the extortionate upgrade fee just to regain your sanity. Furthermore, sharing a master login completely destroys any internal accountability and exposes you to severe liability. This introduces the critical concept of role-based access control, an essential security feature that software providers maliciously gate behind their highest paywalls. If your entire team is logging in under one master administrator account, you have absolutely no audit trail. If a catastrophic error occurs, such as an employee accidentally deleting your entire customer database, launching a half-finished promotional email to 100,000 people, or improperly downloading a list of sensitive customer data to a personal hard drive, you have no technical method to identify who committed the error. To prevent these potential outcomes, you desperately need the ability to restrict permissions. You want your junior copywriter to be able to draft emails, but strictly lack the ability to press the final send button without your manual approval. You want your data analyst to view the revenue reports, but absolutely lack the ability to export or download your proprietary customer contact list. This granular level of security control is a fundamental necessity for any growing enterprise. Yet, the software industry categorizes basic internal security as a premium luxury feature. They weaponize your highly valid fear of employee error and data breaches, forcing you to pay top-tier enterprise pricing simply to protect your own business assets from your own staff. You are paying thousands of dollars a year not for better marketing capabilities, but purely for internal risk mitigation that should be standard out of the box. You are now fully aware of the traps. You have optimized your list hygiene to beat the contact limits. You are monitoring your send volume to dodge the overage fees. You have hosted your own visual assets to bypass storage metering. And you have finally secured a software tier that provides adequate user seats and security controls for your growing team without completely destroying your profit margins. You have built a highly tuned, perfectly integrated, profitable marketing machine. You assume the battle is finally won. But what happens when, a year from now, the private equity firm that owns your email platform decides they need to increase their quarterly revenue projections, and they unilaterally raise your monthly subscription price by 40%? You decide you have had enough. You decide to pack up your data and migrate to a more affordable competitor. And that is the exact moment you trigger the final, most terrifying defense mechanism these platforms possess. You are about to discover that while getting your customer data into their system was incredibly easy, trying to take your own proprietary data out of their system is a highly orchestrated hostage negotiation designed to break your spirit and force you to stay. Welcome to the grim reality of vendor lock-in and the intentional friction of data migration. When you originally signed up for your current email marketing platform, the onboarding process was likely completely frictionless. They offered one-click integrations, automated data syncing, and perhaps even a dedicated concierge team to meticulously port your initial contact list into their database. They rolled out the red carpet because you were bringing them recurring monthly revenue. However, historical trends over the past decade reveal a dark underlying strategy. The architecture of these platforms is deliberately designed to act like a digital roach motel. The data flows in effortlessly, but when you attempt to extract it, you hit a labyrinth of technical barriers, proprietary formatting, and artificial limitations. Let us examine a highly specific case study involving a business operator named Thomas, who runs a highly successful online education and certification company based in Austin, Texas. By the fall of 2026, Thomas had accumulated a massive, highly segmented database of 120,000 students. His email marketing bill had ballooned to nearly $2,000 a month due to the continuous price hikes implemented by his software provider. Frustrated by the shrinking profit margins, Thomas researched a competing platform that offered the exact same feature set for $800 a month. The mathematical potential outcome was undeniable. Migrating would save his business over $14,000 a year. Thomas confidently clicked the export button on his current platform, downloaded a massive spreadsheet file of his contacts, and uploaded it into the new, cheaper system. He assumed the migration was complete and that his monthly savings would begin immediately. What Thomas experienced next is the exact nightmare scenario that keeps American business owners trapped in overpriced software contracts for years. When he opened the new platform, he realized he had not actually exported his marketing database. He had merely exported a flat, lifeless list of names and email addresses. The old platform intentionally stripped away every single piece of behavioral metadata during the export process. Over 5 years of granular customer intelligence completely vanished into thin air. The new system had absolutely no record of which specific students had purchased his introductory course in 2024, which students had attended his live webinars, or which prospects had clicked the promotional links but abandoned their checkout carts. All the behavioral tags, the custom lead scoring, the lifetime value metrics, and the meticulously calculated engagement ratings were left behind in the old system, permanently locked away in a proprietary database format that he could not extract without maintaining his expensive monthly subscription. Imagine if you spent a decade carefully organizing a massive physical library. You categorized every single book by genre, author, historical era, and cross-referenced them based on the specific reading habits of your patrons. You know exactly which patron prefers historical nonfiction and which prefers modern poetry. Then you decide to move your library to a more affordable building across town. But the moving company dictates that you are only allowed to transport the physical books in giant, unmarked cardboard boxes. You are strictly forbidden from taking the index cards, the digital catalog system, the shelving labels, or the patron borrowing history. When you arrive at the new building, you just have a massive pile of books dumped on the floor. You have the raw materials, but you have completely lost the organizational intelligence that made the library function efficiently. You have to start from absolute zero, reading every book and cataloging every patron all over again. This is exactly what email marketing platforms do to your digital assets when you attempt to leave their ecosystem. Because Thomas lost all his behavioral tags, his automated marketing machine instantly collapsed. His multi-step sequences relied entirely on knowing exactly what actions a student had taken in the past. If a student was tagged as a beginner, they automatically received one set of emails. If they were tagged as advanced, they received a completely different curriculum. Without those tags, Thomas was suddenly forced to send generic, untargeted broadcast emails to his entire list of 120,000 people. The potential outcomes were immediate and severe. His open rates plummeted, his spam complaints spiked, and his daily course sales dropped by 40% within the first week of the migration. The vendor lock-in trap extends far beyond just contact metadata. It infects your creative assets and your automated workflows. In 2026, there is no universal, standardized file format for an automated marketing workflow. You cannot simply export an abandoned cart sequence from one platform and magically import it into another. Every single platform uses a completely different proprietary coding language to build those visual automations. When Thomas migrated, he realized he had to manually rebuild over 50 complex, multi-step behavioral automations from absolute scratch in the new software. He had to recreate every single trigger, every time delay, every conditional logic split, and every single email design. This required hundreds of hours of highly tedious technical labor. He ultimately had to hire a specialized migration consultant for $10,000 just to map out the new infrastructure. The operational downtime alone cost his business significantly more in lost revenue than he would have saved in 3 years of reduced software fees. Software companies are fully aware of this exact calculation. They understand that the switching costs associated with migrating an established, sophisticated marketing operation are astronomical. They factor this operational paralysis directly into their pricing models. They know that once you reach a certain level of complexity, they can comfortably raise your monthly subscription price by 20, 30, or even 40% upon contract renewal, and you will almost certainly swallow the massive increase. They know the alternative of tearing down your entire infrastructure and rebuilding it blindly is simply too terrifying, disruptive, and expensive to contemplate. You become a captive audience, completely beholden to their arbitrary billing practices. Furthermore, we must address the severe deliverability reset that inevitably occurs during a platform migration. Even if Thomas managed to meticulously rebuild his automations and manually reapply every single behavioral tag, he still faced a massive hurdle regarding internet service providers. To major inbox providers in 2026, your sender reputation is intimately tied to the specific server infrastructure you use to dispatch your messages. When you abruptly switch from one major software provider to another, you are essentially changing your digital fingerprint overnight. All the trust and reputation you spent years building on the old platform does not automatically transfer with you. You must execute a highly delicate, heavily monitored IP warming process. You have to manually throttle your sending volume, starting with just a few thousand emails a day and slowly ramping up over 30 to 60 days to introduce your new infrastructure to the major inbox algorithms. If you rush this process, your emails will be ruthlessly filtered into the spam folder, further devastating your revenue during the transition period. The combination of lost behavioral data, the requirement to manually rebuild complex workflows from scratch, the hidden consultant labor costs, and the inevitable temporary drop in deliverability creates a seemingly impenetrable fortress of vendor lock-in. You are trapped in a high-priced ecosystem, constantly dodging overage fees, artificial feature gates, and API restrictions, paralyzed by the fear of moving. The entire software landscape appears to be an elaborate financial minefield, designed to extract maximum capital from your business operations. But you are not powerless in this scenario. There is a precise analytical method to completely dismantle this system. By understanding the exact metrics these platforms use to value your account, you can mathematically reverse engineer the negotiation process. You are about to discover the exact strategic framework required to accurately audit your own business needs, compare true operational costs rather than superficial tier pricing, and execute a flawless platform selection strategy that permanently immunizes your business against these predatory billing practices. The very first step in completely immunizing your business against these predatory billing practices is executing what industry insiders call a forensic database audit. You cannot negotiate a better software contract or select a new platform until you know the exact mathematical value of every single contact on your list. This is not a cursory glance at your open rates. This is a ruthless, data-driven purge. Consider the case study of a software as a service founder named Emily, operating a mid-sized technology firm in Austin, Texas in 2026. Emily was paying over $4,000 a month for an enterprise-tier email marketing platform to house 200,000 subscribers. She assumed this was the baseline cost of doing business at scale. However, when she applied a strict forensic audit, analyzing the engagement metrics of every single contact over a 12-month period, the historical trends revealed a shocking inefficiency. Over 80,000 of those subscribers had not opened a single email, clicked a single link, or logged into her software platform in over a year. They were completely dormant. Emily did not simply archive them. She executed a highly strategic re-engagement campaign, offering one final, massive incentive to interact. When only a tiny fraction responded, she permanently deleted the remaining 75,000 completely dead contacts from her database. She did not just hide them, she eradicated them from her billing threshold. This single, decisive action instantly dropped her into a lower pricing tier, recapturing over $1,500 a month in lost capital. The potential outcomes of a ruthless list hygiene protocol are immediate and heavily impact your bottom line. You must stop emotionally attaching your business ego to a bloated subscriber count. A list of 50,000 highly engaged buyers is infinitely more profitable than a list of 200,000 digital ghosts, and it costs a fraction of the price to maintain. Once your list is surgically clean, you must redefine your true operational needs by completely ignoring the marketing brochures and focusing exclusively on revenue-generating features. When you evaluate a platform pricing page in 2026, you are looking at a carefully constructed psychological trap designed to upsell you. They will highlight advanced predictive artificial intelligence, complex multivariate testing, and dedicated account management. You must ask yourself a highly critical question. Does your specific business model actually require machine learning algorithms to send a weekly promotional newsletter? Or are you simply being dazzled by technological jargon? Imagine if you went to a car dealership to buy a reliable commuter vehicle to drive 10 miles to work every day. The salesperson insists you need to purchase the heavy-duty, 1-ton pickup truck with a towing package, specialized off-road suspension, and a winch. It is a fantastic machine, but you work in a corporate office building. You are never going to tow a boat, and you are never going to drive up a mountain. Buying that truck is a massive misallocation of your personal capital. American business owners do this exact same thing with marketing software every single day. They purchase the enterprise-grade pickup truck when all they actually need is the reliable, fuel-efficient sedan. If you run a local bakery in Chicago, you need basic list segmentation, a reliable welcome automation, and high deliverability. You absolutely do not need predictive customer lifetime value modeling. By stripping away the vanity features and mapping your exact, documented technical requirements against the lowest possible pricing tier that supports them, you instantly eliminate the software bloat that is draining your budget. This brings us to the most powerful, yet rarely discussed, defensive maneuver available to high-volume senders in the United States today. It is called the hybrid infrastructure model. If you are sending millions of emails a month, you simply cannot afford to use a traditional, all-in-one commercial email marketing platform. The send volume overage fees and API restrictions will inevitably bankrupt your marketing department. Instead, historical trends show that the most financially sophisticated operators are decoupling their infrastructure. They are separating the software used to design the emails from the actual digital pipes used to send them. Let us examine how a massive direct-to-consumer apparel brand in New York City structured their hybrid stack. Instead of paying $10,000 a month to a traditional platform for their massive list size and sending volume, They utilized a highly specialized, low-cost sending infrastructure known as a simple mail transfer protocol relay service. These relay services, provided by major cloud computing giants, are the raw industrial pipes of the internet. They charge fractions of a penny per thousand emails sent. There are no contact limits, no feature gates, and no user seat extortion. You pay strictly for the exact volume of data you transmit. To actually design the emails and manage the subscriber logic, the brand connected this industrial pipe to a separate, lightweight, inexpensive front-end interface software. This front-end software only costs them a few $100s a month because it does not handle the heavy lifting of actual email delivery. By combining a cheap front-end interface with an industrial pay-as-you-go delivery pipe, they achieved enterprise-level sending capabilities for less than $2,000 a month, completely bypassing the traditional software billing traps. Executing this hybrid model requires a higher degree of technical proficiency, but the potential outcomes for massive cost reduction are undeniable. It represents the ultimate evolution of taking control of your own marketing technology stack. You are no longer renting overpriced digital warehouse space. You are building your own highly efficient, custom-tailored infrastructure. You must approach software procurement with the same rigorous financial scrutiny you apply to commercial real estate leases, payroll expansion, or inventory purchasing. These platforms are not your strategic partners. They are highly aggressive vendors designed to maximize shareholder value by extracting as much capital from your operations as mathematically possible. They rely on your complacency, your fear of technical migration, and your lack of understanding regarding their complex billing mechanisms. By mastering the concepts of list hygiene, rejecting vanity features, auditing your API consumption, protecting your visual assets, and demanding transparent user seat licensing, you reclaim your power in the negotiation. You build a lean, aggressive, highly profitable marketing engine that scales seamlessly with your actual revenue growth, rather than artificially taxing your success. We have systematically dismantled the entire email marketing pricing ecosystem, exposing every single trap, toll booth, and hidden fee designed to drain your budget. You now possess the exact forensic blueprint to audit your current provider, optimize your infrastructure, and fundamentally protect your profit margins. But securing your email marketing overhead is only the first battle in a much larger war for your operational capital. Just as you finally lock down your email expenses, the software industry is aggressively pushing American businesses toward a communication channel that is exponentially more expensive, heavily regulated, and fraught with catastrophic financial penalties for the slightest misstep. The moment you decide to start sending promotional text messages directly to your customers' mobile phones, you are stepping into a regulatory and financial minefield that makes email pricing look like child's play. You think you understand marketing overhead now, but wait until you see the hidden carrier fees, the strict compliance fines, and the complex character limits that are quietly bankrupting businesses attempting to navigate the explosive world of SMS marketing.